Welcome back. Let's push back against winter as it has us in her grips right now. Obviously, so does the cold and flu season, unfortunately. And Dr. Leila Kassim is here to share her vast insights on how families can protect themselves during this time. We do have some weapons in our arsenal, and the role of over-the-counter products like Corenza Para-C can manage cold and flu symptoms so our bodies could do what they need to do and heal. Doc, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you being here during probably the busiest time of the year for you. It almost feels like once the ads start playing on TV, our body's like, oh, it's that time, it's cold and flu season. When we talk about the common colds and flu, the sniffles, the things that kind of come in and seem to bubble under and then don't really get us, like how do we differentiate? Because very often we'll go to Google before we go to a medical practitioner. So kind of where should we be jumping off?
So that's a very good question. A common cold and a flu, the symptoms that patients present with are very similar, but the most important symptom to differentiate is that a common cold is a gradual onset versus a flu, which is a more abrupt onset. And with a flu,
feel it.
you do. And a flu is more severe than a cold. A cold is, as you said, like the sniffles or sneezing and a runny nose, whereas a flu is a viral infection caused by influenza with high fever, abrupt onset, and extreme body aches and pains.
And very extreme this year. It feels like we've had some heavy hitters step into the ring. It almost feels like post-COVID, kind of our seasons have shifted. We've got a much larger window now. That being said, we can be proactive. So before we get into mitigating the effects, how can we prevent? As a family, what sort of mindset should we have?
So also another very important topic to chat about. We do have the influenza vaccine available for children above, for babies above 6 months old to adults. It's very important to know your high-risk categories. So elderly patients above the age of 65 should definitely have the influenza vaccine. And then also just to boost your own immune system, because remember that a flu is a viral infection and it attacks your own body's immune system. So if you've got a good baseline, chances are that you are able to fight off the virus easily. So it's to have enough sleep, to stay hydrated, to eat well, to exercise regularly, to essentially fill your cup and boost your immune system in that sense.
And it's amazing how when you adopt this mentality of kind of just push forward, how your body will steamroll over a lot of these things. And I often see it with my daughter where she's got her immune system kicked in courtesy of her brother, who's a little bit older, bringing stuff home. But I can see her immune system is strong at a young age because she's had exposure to it. So yeah, getting sick every once in a while is okay. When we talk about over the counter, because when we want to just manage the symptoms, especially if we've got to get through a day, whether it's parenting, whether it's kind of working from home, doing whatever we need to do, something like Corenza Para-C, I often will lean on. The power of over the counter, there is a reason why we lean on this.
So it's a nice, easy way to manage your cold and flu symptom before heading over to a doctor. Remember that, again, flus and colds are viral, so essentially you treat symptomatically. So, for example, the Corenza Para-C, it contains paracetamol which is an antipyretic and helps reduce your fever, and then it's got a decongestant which helps with the, the nasal congestion. Exactly. So it's a nice, easy way for family members to use as an easy guide, like a symptomatic assistance.
When do you know, okay, I need to draw a line in the sand here and speak to my doc?
So if you have severe symptoms, so regardless of the timeline, so if there are danger signs like a decreased level of consciousness, severe muscle aches and pains, a fever more than 40 degrees, not responding to any over-the-counter management, and then obviously if there is a sign of a secondary bacterial infection, so perhaps if there is a discoloration of the mucus, or an earache, or develops into a lower respiratory tract infection like a pneumonia. And then also to note that symptoms that last longer than 5 to 7 days, you should actually chat to your GP or your healthcare practitioner.
Yeah, and pharmacists are great in kind of introducing you to a lot of those factors there. So a shout out to our pharmacists and a shout out to our doctors. And I think once you understand the role that viruses play, and we're getting that in spades this year, you understand how this entire ecosystem needs to be empowered. That's why the vaccine is there, so we can learn more about these viruses so that we can combat them from every angle. So thank you so much. On behalf of everyone who is undoubtedly going to get sick this winter season, thank you for keeping us in the fight. So let's play our part. Okay, we can't heal you, but we can make you feel a little bit better. You stand the chance of winning 4,000 Rand in cash with Corenza Paracy. Simply reply to the competition post on the Expresso social media pages and tell us this. What are the first symptoms you experience when you get sick with cold or flu? For all of us, it lands slightly different. Maybe there are some usual suspects. We've given you a few tips. Let us know. And don't forget to hashtag it @AdcocOTCWinter so we know that it qualifies for this competition. And the comp closes Monday, the 17th of June. But you can find all the T's and C's at expressoshow.com. Doctor, thank you so much. We love you.